This is unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable.
Chocolate cake. Oh, look at our cat. He says mama, and he also eats cake for mama. Oh my gosh.
I didn't think he would eat it.
He drinks dark beer. He likes anything dark, I guess. Any kind of products. No, maybe a texture.
I forgot about him liking dark
Yeah,
beer.
he likes dark beer. Well, you gonna get some more before I clean it up. And tomato juice, which is dark. I don't know if cats see in color or not.
Say hi, Malo. Hi friends, we're going to be making a Hershey's chocolate cake. You can actually get the recipe on the back of the can of the Hershey's cocoa. Usually you'll see the recipe there. I know that's where my mom used to get her recipe from. Or you can actually just look it up online, so you can do that. My 15-year-old son has been begging me to make him a chocolate cake. He unfortunately loves sweets, but hey, most kids do love sweets, right? You know, well, adults too, right? So he's been begging me, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I think I barely got all the ingredients. That's something you want to do, is make sure that you have all the ingredients before you start. And I'm right on the edge on that, that's for sure. But let me go ahead and tell you what's in the cake, or what you got to put in the cake. Hold on just a second here. So the recipe requires 2 cups of white sugar, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and it doesn't have to be Hershey's, okay? These can be generics, don't have to be brand names or anything like that. 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 1 cup of milk. I know I'm running short on milk. Hopefully I'm going to have enough. We'll see. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 cup of boiling water. So that's for the actual cake. So that's the stuff you actually need for the cake. All right, and the frosting is 3/4 cup of unsalted butter. I've got salted butter. I don't really think it matters. At room temperature. 5 1/3 cups of confectioner's sugar. I do have some leftover confectioner sugars in the bag. I've had a while. But if you want to get that small, fine sugar, you could just blend regular sugar in the blender. Just don't blend it too long. You know, I don't know, a couple seconds or something, so it makes it really fine. Makes the powdered sugar that way. You can do that. 1 1/2 cups of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2/3 cup of milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So that's the frosting, okay? And so let me read you directions. And then, you know, I'm just reading this to you so you'll know it. Make sure you have all your ingredients. And, and then we'll start making it. So you preheat your oven to 350 degrees, 175 degrees Celsius. Grease and flour are 2 9-inch round cake pans. Now, I've got 2 round cake pans, but I'm going to actually use another pan. You know, I'm just going to pour it all in. And I'm going to make it like a lava cake. I know that's what Alex likes. So you can make that different if you want. To make the cake, stir together the sugar, flour, cocoa, baking soda, baking powder, and salt in bowl. Step 3, add eggs, milk, oil, and vanilla. Mix for 3 minutes with an electric mixer. Stir in boiling water by hand. And then pour evenly into the prepared pans. And step 5, bake in the preheated oven until a toothpick is inserted into the center and the centers come out clean. 30 to 35 minutes. Cool for 10 minutes before removing from pans to cool completely. And step 6, while cakes cool, make frosting, cream butter with an electric mixer until light and fluffy. Stir in confectioner sugar and cocoa, alternatively with milk and vanilla. Beat to smooth, spreading consistency. Step 7, split the layers of the cooled cake horizontally. Cover the top of each layer with frosting, then stack them onto a serving plate. Step 8, frost the outside of the cake with remaining frosting. And then step 9, you just enjoy. So that's the recipe there. I wanted to go over the recipe with you first before we get started. All right, well, let's go ahead and start making the cake. And I'm hoping and praying that I've got enough milk. You know, I'm running low, so we'll see. So here's my big mixing bowl I got from the Dollar Tree a while back, but I put 2 cups of sugar in there, and I just used this measuring cup. Poured 2 cups in there. 1 3/4 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. It doesn't matter what brand. It doesn't have to be Hershey's or Nestle's, or it could be Great Value if you want it to be. 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. Next, you mix all the dry ingredients up here, which I've already done with a spoon. And next, I'm going to be putting in the wet ingredients into the mixture. Put 2 large eggs into the mixture. 1 cup of milk into the mixture. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So for our cake, I'm using a bundt pan here. This is normally what we use. So I sprayed it with some butter spray, but you can oil it if you want, or you know, put a little flour on top of it if you want. That's fine. But here's my mixer. I've had it for a long time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm waiting for my 1 cup of water to boil. So I'm going to be pouring in this mixture, the 1 cup of water that's boiling, which I'm boiling it on the stove. And then I'm going to mix all the ingredients together for about a couple of minutes. And then we'll pour it into this bundt pan. And you can use the round pans too if you want. Okay, so our water is boiling, so now I'm going to be pouring this into the mixture. Now we're going to be mixing it for a couple of minutes. Already poured the 1 cup of boiling water into it. Boy, it's starting to smell good too. I'm starting to smell that chocolate. Looks like our mixture is ready, so now I'm going to be pouring this into the bundt pan. The mixture is now in the bundt pan, so now I'm going to be putting it in the oven. Okay, so I got the bundt pan in the oven, so I'm cooking it on 350. I didn't preheat the oven, I forgot to do that, so I know it says to cook it on 350 to 30-35 minutes after you preheat the oven. So I'm just going to do it for 40 minutes, and then I'm going to check it with a toothpick, you know, to see if the toothpick comes out clean. If it's not wet, then it should be done. If it's a little bit wet with the toothpick, then it might need to be cooked for a little bit longer. But I was going to tell you, if you don't want to use the bundt pan, then the amount of the recipe here, you can just grease and flour 2 9-inch round cake pans if you want to do that. You could do that. So the actual chocolate cake is done here, as you can see. And it smells good. So we're going to let this cool off. And while we're letting it cool off, we're going to be making the icing. Alright, I'm looking dorky right now. I normally don't wear glasses. Take them while they're starting to fog up because I'm hot, but I'm wearing because I noticed that the frosting is slightly different than the frosting I normally make with this chocolate cake. So I looked up the Hershey cake on the internet, and I actually, you know, found on the cocoa box here the recipe. So I started comparing the two, and they're slightly different. So I'm making the frosting different because the way I normally make it, which is on this can right here, probably the Hershey can too. This is actually a generic of baking cocoa, but it's the same recipe pretty much. That's what Alex likes. So I'm going to make it the way he likes it, just the frosting. There was a slight difference on the cake itself. It was just using butter instead of vegetable oil, and that's no big deal, you know. So that's good. We're good on that, but I do want to make the frosting the way it shows on here. So it's hard for me to see now. I'm 50 years old. I had LASIK surgery and everything, but when you get older, you just can't see close up anymore. So no matter what kind of surgeries you get, so that's why I'm wearing reading glasses here. So basically, it says for the topping, it's 1 stick of margarine and 1 box or 1 pound of powdered sugar, 1/4 cup of baking cocoa, 1 cup of coarsely chopped nuts. I'm not going to use that. 1/4 cup of milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm not going to put the nuts in it. It says for the topping, blend margarine, baking cocoa, and milk in a saucepan. Bring to a bowl. So this is the difference right here, okay? And remove from heat and add the powdered sugar, nuts, and vanilla and beat well, okay? So that's the main difference, basically, is that I'm going to be bringing it to a bowl and then adding the confection sugar and all that stuff and then mixing it. The recipe of Hershey cake online that I found just says put everything in a bowl and just mix it. It don't say anything, you know, about boiling it or anything, but he likes it hot. It kind of makes it like lava cake, and that's the way he likes it. I'm gonna make it the way he likes it, because if it's slightly different, I ain't gonna hear the last of it, you know how teenagers are. So, but I tell you, these Dollar Tree reading glasses work pretty good, you know, seeing close up. You can't beat them, you know. I think they're like a little more than $1.25. I think they're like $2 or something. But yeah, I have to use them every now and then now. I had to start doing that about a year or two ago, and luckily I don't have to wear them all the time, but to read close up I have to. And these recipes, man, I mean, everything in such small font and small print. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and start making the frosting the way Alex likes it, my son. Here's the 1 stick of margarine right here. 1/4 cup of cocoa. So I put a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I put 1/4 cup of milk. So now we're going to heat all of this mixture up and bring it to a bowl. As you can see here, the mixture is about to start boiling, and as soon as it starts boiling, I'm going to turn the stove off, and then I'm going to put 3 1/4 cups of confectioner's powdered sugar, which equals to 1 pound of sugar. And it just takes more cups because confectioner's sugar is more finer. And then we're going to mix that up, and then we'll put it on top of the cake. So I got my confectioner's sugar in there, so now I'm just going to start stirring her up, and then I'm going to put it on top of the cake. Smells good. And it's going to be like a molten lava cake, which that's the way Alex likes it. So here is the finished product. So I've got Alex's molten lava cake here. And I'll put the 2 different recipes down, showing you the difference in the frostings. But this is the way he likes it, so I had to make it that way. And you know, once you're making your frosting, you can blend it with a blender once you're all done too, if you want. Or you can heat it up a little more to make it more melted here. But that's what it looks like. So here is the molten. What's it called? Molten lava cake. Here it is. And it's very moist. It's very good. That's what it looks like right there. All right, so I'm gonna try a bite of it. Alex is in the bed, so I was making the cake. It's not that late, and he just said he's too tired that he'd try some tomorrow. So, okay, for a while on his cake here. That's okay. That's okay. So here it is. Oh yeah, it was really good. It was really chocolatey. Really good. I mean, that's like heaven right there. I mean, it's just so much better to do it on the stove. It's just, I like it better. I know the cake is not as pretty, but it sure does taste pretty in the mouth. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really, really good. Now, I know doing the frosting the other way, without heating it on the stove, probably would have made the cake look prettier. And it would have been good too, but I like it melted like this too. I agree with Alex on that. So definitely a thumbs up. All right, try the cake, see what you think.
It looks really good. Gooey, tastes like chocolate. Man.
Yeah, it tastes gooey like that and real chocolatey when you do it on the stove.
I could eat this every day. About 900 sugar from eating this. A plus. A plus. I like it.
Yeah, and it's an old recipe too. What happened was I was telling them earlier that I looked up the Hershey cake recipe online and I noticed it was different with the frosting once I got to the frosting part. So then I happened to have the recipe on the back of a cocoa can and it had what to do on the stove because I haven't made it in a while. So I forgot a few things, but I told them that in the description that I'd put both recipes on there where it's the regular frosting and the melted frosting. And this just shows you can't judge a book by its cover because the cake wasn't as pretty with the melted icing, but it tastes better. A cake's going to look a lot prettier the other way of making the icing. But yeah, this is the way Alex likes it, and he decided that he'll have some tomorrow. And it's a shame because it's warm right now, but I guess he can heat it in the microwave tomorrow.
It might be gone tomorrow.
It might be gone tomorrow. Yeah. No, you better leave him a piece. I'll never hear the last of it. But yeah, even Milo, he's over here. He's been hanging around the kitchen while I was making the cake and meowing, and he could smell it. So, all right. Well, y'all take care.